across the city, the province, the country, getting involved in this important conversation. And now we have Shreya Patel joining us live in studio. I know you're a big part of the Bell Let's Talk campaign. In fact, we were watching the flag raising ceremony. You said you were there last year. Why is this an initiative that you wanted to get involved with?
I think this conversation is so important surrounding mental health. The reason why I got involved in it was because in my South Asian community, this is not spoken about openly, and I kind of wanted to break that stigma.
Is that something that you noticed in speaking with family members, with friends, if the topic of mental health, good mental health came up, that it wasn't necessarily a priority or even something to consider?
I feel like when talking about mental health with my friends, I've noticed that they were like, every time they speak about it in front of their parents, the first thing they would come up with is like, oh, it's all in your head. It's like a massive taboo. And so that was never spoken about in my family, and it was never spoken about in my friends' families either.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey, if you're comfortable sharing this story. You were telling me a little bit about anxiety and how that was something that when you felt that was something you were dealing with, that you wanted to get a little bit more information, and your family was on board with that too.
Yeah, so the first time I dealt with anxiety, I did not know I was dealing with it. So I would Google things like, oh, can't breathe, or a fish out of the water. And I was not able to concentrate on things that I love to do. So I ended up telling my parents about it. I was like, I can't concentrate on things I love to do. I can't concentrate on work. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know, I can't breathe. So when I ended up talking to them, they were like, okay, how can we help you? What can we do together to help you? And so we got educated together about what anxiety was, and sharing was the biggest tool that helped me recover because I felt supported.
I was gonna ask, when you heard from your family members, okay, what can we do? How can we help? That must have meant so much to you at a time when it sounds like it was very confusing and I'm sure very scary.
Yeah, they always told me, they're like, you know what, we're in this together, which was like such a positive thing for me because I know that a lot of people don't have that kind of support. Actually, it's not even spoken about in the community, so you don't even know where to go. You most likely feel lost.
And I know you were telling me you have a blog. That's how this conversation kind of started with you and how you ended up involved with Bell Let's Talk. So how did that kind of come about?
So I was approached by a blog which showcases like mental health stories amongst South Asian communities. And I wrote a piece on that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you were part of that conversation and you were talking about mental health. And what was the response like?
It was phenomenal. Actually, Bell Let's Talk found me through that blog and messaged me on Instagram and was offering me to be part of this massive campaign, which I was so grateful to be part of. But initially, like I was mentioning, that when it came to me, I was not sure if I wanted to be part of it because I was like, I don't know what everyone would think. But then I'm like, this is why you speak about it. You break the stigma. So that's why I was lucky enough to join them.
What do you think of the past 10 years with Bell Let's Talk and how this conversation really has evolved?
This conversation has evolved in so many ways. People are talking more about mental health, especially in our generations. It's like a normal conversation that you're having with your friends and families. Families still, if you're like a bit of an older generation, it's still something that people are understanding to talk about, but it's become a more of a normal conversation than before.
And what about the conversation with kids and youth? You and I were speaking a bit off camera. That's something that also has your interest right now.
Yes, because conversation about mental health is barely talked about in the youth, in kids especially. Like, I was bullied in school. I had no idea I was even suffering from any kind of mental health related to that event that happened in my life until now. When I look back, I'm realizing that that has affected me. So I want to pay it forward by starting this initiative called ReVnt, where I'm working with kids, who have had any kind of traumatic experiences or a challenging past, and work with them to express themselves creatively through art. Either it's like through confidence classes, through like dance, art, any kind of thing like that, and talk about like topics like mental health, body image, and bullying.
I think it's a great idea, and we certainly appreciate you taking the time to come in and share your story today. Thanks, Shreya.
Thank you so much.